Hi people, I'm Hannah. Thanks for being here, whether you're a newbie or an OG. I'm grateful that you are choosing to spend some time with me to watch this video. This is a video that I feel needs to be made, and I feel like it's a message that is a hard truth. And there are people like me that exist that are just hated everywhere because we deliver hard truths. And I'm going to be speaking from personal experience about this. And that's it. If I didn't have personal first-hand experience, then yeah, come at me and tell me to shut my mouth or whatever. But I do. So I'm going to be speaking on it. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to deliver the message directly. It will cause offence to people who are not healed, and that's the truth. That the people that are not healed, it will cause offence. And the thing that's triggered me to make this video, and I've made videos kind of before, you can go back and watch them, about being Palestinian and about being targeted by shit raelis and stuff like that. But because of what happened at Glastonbury, with the chant death to the IDF, yeah, and the fallout from it and people pandering to the establishment about it and stuff like that, I'm making this video so people know actually what that's about and what where it came from. One, God gives people gifts, and some people's purpose on the earth is to use their voice. That's what a lot of artists are on the planet for. That's why they're on the planet, to use their voice. Chanting death to the IDF is about the killing machine. End of story. A lot of people want the killing machine to be gone. First and foremost, because it's a killing and starvation machine. And second of all, it's illegitimate anyway. It was set up by illegal immigrants on a land that they were ungrateful for being let in as refugees. And they weren't great. They decided to terrorise the population instead of integrating into it and living civilised and assimilating. They've chosen to take over and outstay their welcome. But at the end of the day, if some artists, a lot of art comes from a very innocent place. And if it's got to the stage where artists have to stand on stage and say the truth, the truth isn't a nice thing to hear a lot of the time. And nobody really should be pandering to people's wounding, which is what this anti-Semitism cry about everything is. It's to get people trauma bonded. It's to get people attached, tethered, so they can maintain their identity, which is forged on trauma. Everything is rooted in falsity, falsehoods, okay? This is just the latest person that they've chosen to make it. They need an enemy, these guys, right? They always need an enemy, one. And so they can maintain their status as the victim that should always be pandered to. They don't even try to hide it. It's out in the open that it's a strategy that they use. And also, we need to actually the people next door and the next door having the roof done. We just need to actually take note that these people are criminals. These people are criminals, okay? When someone commits a crime, the law doesn't look at their ethnicity as a primary thing about victim or perpetrator. So why does the focus get shifted? Why does it get pivoted to create a narrative that completely alters reality. And this video is mainly about that, and about, sorry, I haven't got anything to put my, hold on, I'll hold it like that for now. But yeah, so how they like really conniving in how they shift reality so they just get what they want. And that's what they've done for 80 to 100 years. And it's not lasted because it's not real. That's why everything's toppling now, or that's why everything's falling, because what they've tried to build is not actually sustainable. It's not of God. It's not from the heart. Anything that's not from the heart doesn't last. Confirmation. So, and I want to talk about, personally for me, shit raelis have been making my life hell since 2021. I'm not really an online person. I share my work online because it's a thing that you have to do in this day and age. Being online is like a part of today's world. But it's not really everything about my life. It's far from everything about my life. I'm a solitary woman, solitary creative person. And I've mentioned it in other videos. Like, being online is like, you know, a part of my identity. It's not really the be all and end all. I started sharing online because I was called to do it. Like, I had a realization that my art is not just for me anymore, because it was just something I did in private for my own enjoyment, that is still the root of it. I'm not going to lie. I've said it in other videos. I'm not going to lie. That's still the root of it. But me doing that has put me in a lot of danger and made me a target, because I'm Palestinian and shit raelis have this identity that they make me a threat without even doing anything. Before the genocide, more than 2 years before, I was targeted online, and they've been making my life hell because they're infiltrating all systems and do behind the scenes shit to affect people's lives. I'm not even in Gaza. I'm Gazan, but I'm not even in Gaza. My dad has been in the UK since the 1960s. So like, it's not even like my family left and stuff, and now they're using tech. Now they're using tech to terrorize us all around the world. That is a big no-no. That is a big no-no. How can they cry at death to the IDF when it's the IDF that's infiltrating all civilian infrastructure because of their own paranoia, and then they can cry anti-Semitism about it? No. You should not be allowed in any capacity to infiltrate day-to-day civilian life. It doesn't matter who the person is. Doesn't matter who the person is. I can't stand, what's it called? Nigel Farage. I'm not going to go spend my days hounding him and infiltrating all his life and stuff in the back. No, who does that? But that's what these people do. And in terms of the crimes that they do day to day, do you think Jew is on the top of the list of people's concerns? It's probably number 100 or, 200. No. When people look at crimes, it's not that the person is Jew or Muslim or Arab or black, or it's that they're a murderer, that they're a rapist. Do you know what I mean? It's that they're a fraudster. It's the crimes should be the forefront. For me, literally the Jew is the least problem, and they're not even real Jews anyway. Real Jews don't do that. But what these fake Jews, these shit raelis do, is they deliberately target people's spirit. They do spiritual warfare. They try to ruin people. They target every area of your life. They openly say it. There's these fake rabbis who openly say that's what they're doing. And that's what they're doing with the drugs in the flour. They've put opioids in the aid flour because they want the whole population to disconnect from themselves, which is disconnecting from God, and be a slave to them. This is not going to work. You can't transfer your karma because you're addicts. They feed their babies drugs and rape them from kids. That is in the Talmud. That's what they do. That's their culture, and they want that to be universal, a global thing. No, people are going to resist that shit. And this is the machine that needs to die. You can't go around owning people, thinking that you own people. No. It's not for me personally, it's not that hard. Like I joined Facebook in very early days. I think it was like the university that I was at the time was one of the first adopters in the UK. So I've been on the internet for like 20 years. It's not that hard to go back and look at my life and find out that I'm not a terrorist. It's really not that hard. But these people are allowed to make false reports, dox me, blackball me, affect my income, make me out to be delinquent in society on the fringes and the outskirts, just to serve their agenda so they can keep reporting things to the police and have me illegally surveyed and stuff, and all of this British taxpayer money to demonise me and stop me from just living a normal life. I'm an independent person who's been paying my own way for since I was 16. I've had a job. The only time when I had some shared responsibilities was I was cohabiting with someone for 5 years, and that was it. All the other times since 16, I've paid my way for everything. Everything. I've not had help. So people need to look at the facts here and stop pandering to this bullshit cries of anti-Semitism when they are doing crime in that vein. They are using that word to do crime and then report it as if they're being targeted. Sorry, people in law enforcement need to actually wake up and use their brain and stop wasting resources looking into bullshit and look at the real crimes that have been done. Some very serious crimes have been done to me. The Jew bit on the list, it doesn't matter who they are. They could be Ghanaian, they could be Australian, they could be from anywhere. At the end of the day, you can't gang stalk people, you can't hijack people's accounts, rob all their income, steal everything, use their identity for doing the worst sex crimes and stuff like that on the internet, trafficking and all of that, and embezzlement and fraud. So I get investigated, and it's not me. It's just because they're the shit raelis cyber people. They get access to everyone's data and they sell it and they do what they want with it. That is illegal. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that to make people look like something they're not. And this is not a thing that should be normalized. This behavior and this kind of infiltration into civilian life, this is from the Shitraeli demonic forces. This is from the IDF. This needs to die. This is not normal. This is not normal. And this kind of taking over the world in this way and diminishing people's sovereignty is wrong. And there will be alternatives to the internet, and there will be alternatives to everything now, because of this the compromising of people's sovereignty, and what shit raelis will never have. So basically, a lot of Palestinians now, they are Muslim. Obviously, there's Christians and there's Jewish Palestinians, but the Quran is the how-to guide to live a sovereign life. We are not as Palestinians here to exist to be tethered to their quest for domination. That is not our role here. That is not for us. Trying to overlord on people's free will, that is a big no-no. You cannot lord over people's free will. Nobody has a right to do that. You get serious karma for that. And that is what shit raelis are getting. That's why everything is collapsing around them, because they've spent so long overloading on people's free will. And even sacrificing their own. the Israeli demonic forces is going to collapse because of that. That is the number one reason. It's not because of anything else. It's not to do with, they can cry anti-Semitism or anything all they want. It's a universal law. You can't trample on people's free will. You can't tether people to a fate that's nothing to do with them. The fate that's been put on Palestinians it's not ours. We want nothing to do with it. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, for 4 years, I've been having to deal with that shit on my life. Being a Palestinian has never really affected my life. It has here and there, but not to the point of infiltration in the system where they've got into all government systems and put me flagged on stuff like that. So I'm on terror watch, and I have drones outside my house every night and all flying over my house every day and night, and all my texts hijacked, and I'm not able to make money. How people need to look at the realities. Am I doing that to anyone? Am I using government money, taxpayers' money, setting up fake organisations and charities and community interest companies to deliberately target people who are minding their own business because of crying anti-Semitism? No. I don't have any sympathy for people that do that. None. Because they've tried to make my life hell. They're trying to ruin me. They're still trying to do it now. And people with sense need to stop it, because it's not good. It's not good. It's not a good thing to have people ostracised based on someone crying anti-Semitism. At the end of the day, I didn't choose my heritage per se. It's something that I am that, and I have a moral responsibility in a position that I'm in. It's an even greater responsibility as someone in I hate the word diaspora, but as someone in the diaspora, to speak. And also, like what I said at the beginning of the video, as an artist and as a poet, that is my role, that is my purpose, to speak and to write the truth. And that's basically what other artists do. Stop demonising artists. Governments should just be doing their jobs. If governments did their jobs and had a moral compass of their own volition, then artists wouldn't be doing that on stage. It's not what we want to be doing. It's not anything. It's not nice to have to do it. But it's still the truth. It's still the truth, and people need to hear the truth. Confirmation. It's still the truth. You can't vilify truth tellers, because the truth tellers are the masses now. The truth, I remember, obviously I've been Palestinian all my life. And I'm an activist because of it. And the support for Palestine was never like this. It was never popular. It was never popular. And look now. People have got their own eyes, their own hearts, their own minds, and they can see the truth. It's not really that hard to see it, to be honest. But it was earlier, like it was for most of my life. But yeah, the crimes that the IDF do should be looked at for the crimes that they do. Someone's speaking the truth about a military machine that kills babies, then it shouldn't matter that it's Israeli. It shouldn't matter. Could be Mongolian. If it's killing babies, it's killing babies. Why is that the focus? It's never the focus for anyone else. Someone who stabbed someone on the street, that's just a white British guy. They're not going to be looked at as a white British guy. They're going to be looked at as someone as the act that they've done, the stabbing. And people need to get their brains in gear, switched on, and look at the crimes. Stop shifting this narrative where you're looking at people from sects or from heritage. Nobody ever did that before. Why is my life literally gone to shit because of people reporting me based on my skin colour, basically, my heritage, which has never been a problem before? You need to stop this false reality and, so people, because that's the whole thing about shit trail, is they've got a false majority in the world. They funnel all the wealth by creating a monopoly in shit trail. It's the hub, it's the monopoly hub, and that's why nobody can do anything for them. It's the hub for sex trafficking as well. It's the hub for drug trafficking. It's the hub for it's the trade hub. They want to put all the trade lines and stuff, so that they're the monopoly, and that's why they're failing, because monopolies are not of God. Monopolies are not of God, and that's why it will never work. Anyone who's working towards that with them, it will never work. So I don't really know what else to say other than stop being racist, because it's the angle in which you're framing things that is the racist thing, and they do it on purpose. People have chosen to target me and look at me from a racist angle, and there's consequences for that. There's damage that's been done that needs to be paid for and accounted for. And that's facts. Like, you can't shift how people are viewed because you want to maintain your position and you want to pick the latest person to have as a person to hate, so you can maintain your reality and your false identity, because that's what they have. They have a false identity of victimhood where they always frame themselves as the victim. And they want it to continue. It's at the moment they're using artists to do that because the artists are the ones speaking out. But that was always going to be the way. It was always going to be the way. When I was sick in 2022, and I was basically like bedbound for pretty much like January till like May of 2022, I actually channeled what's happening with Kneecap. I didn't know it was Kneecap, but I channeled an Irish rap artist who was had Palestinian flags all around them, massive crowds at festivals. I channeled the genocide was going to happen in 2021, 2022, because I channeled it. October the 7th, neither here nor there. The Shitrelis planned this genocide from a long time. I channeled it. I trust in all my poems. I don't know exactly what I'm channeling or what they mean or anything, but I channeled it. Everyone can cry October 7th what they want. This Shitrelis they've got plans for Greater Shitrail for a long, long time. And I wouldn't have been able to channel it, I don't think, had they not been stalking me and all of that and doing all this behind the scenes jiggery pokery. Latching onto all of my online presence, latching onto stealing my identity and doing all this, latching onto hacking everything, confirmation with my itchy nose. Because they're in my energy all the time. And that's what they need to do. They need to just get out of our energy. They don't belong there. We are not here to exist for them to be parasites on us. That's what they are to us. They are parasites. They don't know themselves. They have no soul. And they try to exist through ours. And they think that all their wealth is theirs. It's robbed from us. And that's what they're doing. That's what they've done in Syria. They're doing the same. Syrian people are stupid. That's what they're trying to do in Lebanon. That's what they're even trying to do here. And they've got EDL shitheads actually doing the work for them. And that's how they do it. They get ignorance, sectarian ignorance, to do their dirty work for them. Because they're unconscious, they don't even know what they're doing. People just need to use their brains a little bit. Especially like, I just don't know how they've got with what they're doing to me. I don't know how they've gotten away with it for so long, because I've obviously got no criminal history. I've obviously don't bother anyone. Most of the time I'm just on my own. Like, I don't get it, how it's gone on for this long. What they were doing to me was more than 2 years before the genocide. More than. Who's going to help me get my income back? Who's going to help me get all the money they've robbed off me back? Who's going to help me shut down all of these mortgage fraud, all these investment accounts, or all probably wills, life insurance that they've got on my name? All of these need to be shut down. I can't die with all of these fake things done in my name in the background that I've got nothing to do with. People need to take this seriously. This is very serious crimes. Jew is not at the top of the list. It doesn't matter what heritage you are. If you're doing them kind of crimes on people's sovereignty, you belong in prison. You can cry anti-Semitism all you want. You're not going to get no favours. You shouldn't get any favours anyway. These are very, very serious crimes. And especially when you're targeting people like with me, I had my own stability and something that I built for myself on my own. To then try and make me out to be crazy and have mental health problems and all of this to have all of these things set up and all this forgery done in my name. Who knows, like, what else is there? I could be married without my knowledge, because that's what people do to have these fake trusts set up. I'm not attached to any of it. I don't know these people. I don't know who they are. People should not be stealing my poems and copyrighting my intellectual property and blocking my money so I can't do it for myself. This needs to be stopped. They can't be getting away with this bullshit anymore just because they're Jewish. This is not Jew. Real Jews don't have time for this bullshit. Real Jews are faithful. They trust in God. They don't rob other people's wealth. They create their own from God. Just like what real Muslims do, just like what real Christians do, just like, it doesn't even real Buddhist. It could be any faith. Someone who believes in their own creativity and does everything for themselves and invest in themselves. Shit Rail is trying to stop people from investing in themselves. That is a big no-no. That is not of God. Trying to put the opioids in the flour to get people disconnected from God, and they do everything to try and affect people's spirit, because they don't have one. This is the big realization that they need to come to terms with. They haven't been given one. They exist on this earth as demons with no souls. They are parasites and exist as a contrast for people to be able to develop their discernment. And this is what this is what's happening. People are waking up, developing their own discernment, seeing with their own eyes, seeing with their own hearts, seeing with their own minds. And at the end of the day, they need to face facts that they are a falsity. They are a false positive in this world. They are not chosen people. Chosen people are not self-proclaimed chosen people. They're not. It's not just one race of people. Chosen people exist in every community, every denomination of every faith. They can be anywhere in the world. They're not just these Jews. They're not these fake Jews. And like, yeah, like I said at the start, this video needs to be made. This video needs to be said, needs to be heard. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the crimes that they do that needs to have the focus on it. It's not the heritage. Just like with me, how they've tried to spin me as a terrorist just because I'm Palestinian, just to hijack all my life and get everything infiltrated, and me just stopping me from living normal life, like having a normal right to work, a normal right to earn money from my own work, my own hard labour of for years, all my life's work, to stop me from having normal access to everyday things that everyone in this country has access to. Meanwhile, they get easily grant money easily for their fake events, their propaganda events, and their fake charities to harass people. Their harassment charities. This culture needs to change. This is crimes. This is a criminal culture, and it's got no place in a civilized society. It shouldn't be allowed to thrive. It shouldn't be allowed to fester like that. And this it doesn't matter who's doing it. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It could be from any. It could be Indians. Do you know what I mean? It could be Malaysians. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what heritage you're born into. And you can't stop people advocating for freedom. It's a very that's what we're all here to do. That's what we're all here to do. And the thing they've done to me, I'm a very committed individual. I'm committed to my own life. My commitment is the foundation of my prosperity, and it always has been all my life. It's evident in what I've built. It's not that, it doesn't take a detective or someone that's high up in the legal system or anything to assess it. And the gravest crime that raelis do is try to affect commitment, so that people are committed to their agendas, which is not sovereign. It's not of God. Real commitment is a devotion to God. It's the sanctity of life. It's mastering your own free will in line with divine will. And this is what they try to alter. That's how I've always lived all my life. And being a British person living in British society was not antagonistic to that until they started hijacking my life, making me out to be someone I'm not. I'm not even an online person. They were checking in using my Facebook account in all different countries and in Manchester. Why would I check in Manchester all the time with nondescript? They were in Southeast Asia. I can't remember where. The last time I checked in on Facebook was when I did a nighttime fell run. It was in 2020 in COVID time. I was going out doing head torch runs in small groups when you could go out in groups of 6. That's 5 years ago. And that there's all of these fake check-ins from whoever's been hijacking my accounts. No one does anything because it's raelis doing it, and they get away with murder, literally get away with murder. Why are they allowed to have red lines? And every single violation's been done to me. There's plots of attempted murder on my life. They've hijacked my tech to make it look like I'm dead, so they can get away with stealing money and cashing in on whatever fakery they've done in the background. Since they turned off my health app to make it look like I was dead from October last year. Weird fucked up shit like that. Who does that? Who does that? These people are criminal minded. They are corrupt to the core. And it doesn't matter that they call themselves Jew. A lot of Nazis ditched the Nazi label and went to Zionism so they could get away, so they could avoid being trialed for the Holocaust. Same people. It's the same people. That's their DNA. It's to say, like, people need to get real now. They're criminals. They have a criminal history. They're doing the same crimes now. That is their line. That's their ancestral lines. That is their ancestral lines. And they can't be, like, my heritage should not be the focus of my life. It never was before. It's never like, I've done it, I've mentioned it on a lot of videos, but I've always been someone that broke boundaries. Like, just things like being a fell runner with my skin colour is not a common thing that you would see. It's really not. I mean, you might see it in countries where there's more people of different ethnicities. You know, like if I was, for example, a fell runner in the Himalayas, you would see more people with my skin tone in those parts. But in the UK, in those very rural villages and stuff, I didn't really see many black or brown people doing fell running. Running as in general, I didn't see. Like, I was still in the minority, even though I'm in a very multicultural suburb, because it is very white and it's very middle class to be in a running club. It's not something that people from more working class backgrounds tend to be involved in, and that's just the truth. I've always been an oddball. I've always been like the odd minority person in a predominantly white setting. I was like that. It was like that in the NHS, in my previous career. Like, I was like that. It was like that in my course, in my uni. My uni course was like that. You know, so there was just like it's never been It's always I've always been like someone who showed that it's not a barrier. Whereas now my heritage and my ethnicity and everything is imposed on me, that it's a constraint because I've got this, been labelled, I'm on terror watch and stuff like that, and I've been blocked from just accessing ordinary things, which I had no problem doing before, because I've worked for it. And now I'm having to always be standing up against bullying from the system and fraud. No. This should not be the way. And I should not be vulnerable as a sole proprietor or as a single female. I shouldn't be vulnerable shouldn't be in a position where I have to fight because of that kind of fraud from the elites. So this is elite level fraud that's been done to me, and they're trying to end my life. Chance of death to the IDF is nothing compared to the actual insidious crimes that they do on a regular basis, and all of the trafficking and stuff. They've been trying to get me trafficked. They've been using my account to do trafficking and making money off it in my name. This is disgusting. This should be talked about more widely than the frigging chant at the Glastonbury in the crowds. This is vile. What they've been doing in my name is horrific. I'm just an ordinary member of society. There's nothing special about me. They've made an issue of something that was never an issue. This Creative Industries for Peace, or whatever the organisation is that's been trying to ruin my life from the inside, before I even got to know anything about anything to do with the industry, is ridiculous. Why should I even have to be in a position where I'm having to undo a reputation that I never even made? Someone else made it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is the thing. They try and get you in a situation where you're always having to say, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. No. And this is the trauma bond. It was like, no, this is not me. This is not me. They try and put their cake on their problems and projectile vomit onto you. So then you kind of like are in agreement that you've been anti-Semitic towards them. No, we're not in them times no more. Nobody's getting trauma bonded like that anymore. We're in the times where we are striving for sovereignty, and like I said, the Quran is literally a how-to guide of how to live a sovereign life, and it's very empowering for women as well. Whereas they want women to be disempowered, like what they've been doing everything to disempower me, everything under the sun, through using legal routes in the system. That's very hard for the average ordinary person in the financial ombudsman, for example, or in the banks to spot, because the most ordinary Joe blogs at that level, who's, they're probably like in the early 20s or something. They've not really had much life experience, not really much career experience. That kind of level of sophisticated fraud, it's not that easy to spot, and it's really hard to get your name cleared. It's really hard to get any money back. It's really hard to reverse any of the damage that they've been doing. But they've put that in my path for me to have. They've put a mess at my door, and clearing up that mess is like enabling them even more. And I'm not here to exist to do that either. I'm not here to exist to do that either. So yeah, at the end of the day, this needs to be looked at. People need to realise the Jew thing is not really at the forefront of people's minds no more. Like, they could be Buddhist. If they're killing babies, they're killing babies. At the end of story. They're starving babies, they're starving babies. End of story. They're raping people, they're raping people. End of story. The Jew bit is really not at the forefront of the list of crimes. It's not the reason why people are calling them out. It's really not. It's because they're very shitty individuals who really belong in prison. It's a very delinquent society that's trying to project delinquency on people that don't deserve it and have never been delinquent in any area of their life before they've been targeted by them. And that's facts. Anyway, if you're still here, thanks for sticking with this video. I'll see you in the next one. Please do the free things, because I'm blackballed on here. Please share this video. And yeah, thanks again, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.